Liberty Unfiltered, and here's your host, Steve Long. This is Liberty Unfiltered, and here's your host, Steve Long.
Hey folks, it is Liberty Unfiltered. I'm your host Steve Long, and we are on Vigilant Liberty Radio. We're also streaming over on 98talk.com and the Spark Radio Network. Joining me tonight is the host of Edge of Anarchy, Amanda McAllister. How's it going, Amanda?
Not too bad. And yourself, Steve?
Doing good, Staying busy and trying to not be sick anymore. So, the main theme of our show, for the most part, we're going to kind of take a break from politics, and we're going to talk about TV shows. But we are going to do a little bit of politics, current event type stuff before we jump into all that. Any stories caught your eye this week, Amanda?
Any stories caught my eye? Not really, honestly. Well, actually, did you see the poop check story out of Texas?
I did not. I did hear something about a poop gangster. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So there's two crazy school stories this week. The first, I think they were third graders, were in a gymnasium, and one of the teachers found feces on the gym floor and told the students to line up for a poop check. They were going to check the students for poop.
Oh, that's right.
And parents were infuriated. I would have been. I would have taken those teachers out, man. You tell my kid to pull down your pants? Heck no.
Yeah, I think they'd be hearing from me. Get your hand out of my kid's pants.
How does that even work? Oh my gosh. And heaven help the poor kid who just didn't wipe well, yeah. And it wasn't them that pooped on the floor. They're being drug out, because they have a racing stripe in their pants or something.
Wow.
And in another school insanity story, a student was suspended for saying that he was going to bring the one ring of power to roll them all to school and make his friends disappear. I know. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are classic books. We had to read The Hobbit. Why is a child being punished for acting out that story? That is insane. And he was previously suspended for calling a black classmate black.
Okay.
He referred to a black classmate as black.
What are you
supposed
to call him?
Right. And he had a kid's encyclopedia who had a pregnant woman in it. And he was showing his teacher about the solar system, and the teacher suspended him because it had a picture of a pregnant woman in it.
Wow.
My kid would be homeschooled at this point.
I really wish I could do that with my kids. It'd be great. Here in Edmond, a 16-year-old boy was charged with a felony for possession, you ready for this?
Okay.
Of an airsoft rifle.
What?
Felony possession of a dangerous... I don't even remember what the charge was, but it was... Essentially, he was caught in a residential area with an airsoft rifle.
Where was this at?
Edmond, in the town that I live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma.
What? in the series hell?
Exactly. I mean,
How does that happen in Oklahoma?
yeah, I mean, first of all, people like their guns here in Oklahoma. Second of all, it's an airsoft rifle. It's not even a BB gun. It's a toy. And he's being charged with a felony. So, yeah, that's really ridiculous. However, on the bright side of things here in Oklahoma, the hoodie bill died in committee.
Not surprised.
It's not even going to get a vote. No, it's not surprising at all. The fact that it made it as far as it did, and it wasn't even the person who authored the bill that kind of pulled it. He didn't even do that. It was the chairman of the committee to which it was assigned that killed it. Like people, this guy that authored the bill, I got a feeling that people are going to remember his name forever. He is termed out after this next cycle, so he is not going to be around.
I saw a supposed conservative article where they're like, "Oh, libertarians are freaking out over this because they don't understand that this was just meant to ban, like, Ku Klux Klan hoodies." Well, wait, you're still telling people what to wear. If a bunch of people want to get together and put a bunch of hoodies on and act like complete imbeciles, then that's still their right, whether or not I agree with them, which I most certainly don't.
Right. Well, the guy who wrote it actually said that the reason he wrote it was because he was afraid of the protesters showing up at the Capitol with their Guy Fawkes masks.
Oh no, not a Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah, he was afraid of those people. So, still, not a good reason to waste your time writing a bill when there are so many other things in Oklahoma that could be, fixed. How about legalizing marijuana? That would be a good one. There's not even a bill for it this session.
There's about 4 bills in Ohio that they're trying to get that they're either going to try to push through or just put them on the ballot. It looks like it's going to happen. I don't know whether or not it'll actually be legalized, but they're doing it in 2 separate parts. They're doing one for medicinal use, and then they're doing one for recreational use.
Yeah.
So it'll be funny to see which one goes through first and how they're going to go ahead and do that. And then there's another one saying that you can grow your own. You can have up to 2 or 3 plants or something along those lines. So a lot of flurry of activity with marijuana legalization in Ohio.
In Oklahoma, we can't even get it for medical.
We can't either in Ohio, but you can have up to a certain amount and pay a fine. It's decriminalized, but not as much as other places.
So, did you see any of the reports of how much marijuana sales have been, or how much they were in 2014?
No, I haven't.
$3 billion.
$3 billion. Wow.
And that's from Colorado, Washington, Alaska, and Oregon.
Wow.
So there's a lot of money in it, and
oh yeah,
I think this is going to be another angle that we can hit the conservatives with, at least to explain another reason why it should be legalized if they consider themselves fiscally conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just obvious growth potential in it. I mean, you're talking about the first year, essentially, that it was legal. That they've started, there's $3 billion in legal sales. That's crazy. But
even if they decriminalize it and completely make it legal for medical use,
right,
that in and of itself, I mean, the paraphernalia trying to infuse it into foods or pop. I think you can put it in pop now in Colorado for medicinal use, or you might even for recreational use. Just cashing in on the culture, the paraphernalia. I mean, it's a gold mine.
Yeah.
Even on top of the crop itself.
Yeah, in the chat room, Boston Randy says a lot of money and a lot of tax dollars.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. We'll see what happens in Ohio. I think it's got a good shot. I really do. I really do. I can't say, tell people how to vote one way or the other due to the nature of my job, but it's there. The support for it certainly is there.
I was reading something this morning, and now I can't remember where I found it. I think it may have been an article I found on Facebook, and where I found it escapes me right now. But there was some report that Colorado made so much money, like the state of Colorado made so much money in tax revenue that they have enough to issue like tax credits. Like give people money back based off of kind of like I don't know. I used to live in Alaska, and the state of Alaska makes so much money in like profits from oil refineries and that sort of thing, that if you are a resident of the state of Alaska, every year you get like this check just for living there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, in Colorado, if you live in Colorado, sounds like you're going to get a check because they've made so much money off tax revenue.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to have to look up. I know I saw it this morning. Now I can't remember where I saw it. But it would be interesting if that is true. I mean, it's interesting on one hand that they're making that much money off of it, but also interesting on the hand that the government's actually going to bother giving people their money back.
I already got my tax return.
I have not filed yet.
I got my federal one back. I'm still waiting for my state one. The state of Ohio sent a letter this year saying that they were going to be delayed in an effort to minimize fraud. They were really going to go into it. I don't know what that means. It's like, listen, I work for you people. You know how much I made.
Yeah.
You're the ones who gave me the damn money, and now I got to tell you how much you gave me.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. Doesn't the NSA and the IRS work together anyway? Why can't you just tell them what I make? I always get it all back anyway. I make so little money that I guess they feel bad for me.
I don't.
Oh, man. Well, those are all the current events that I know about. I guess we can go ahead and jump into our main topic. TV, which I want to put a disclaimer out before we start talking about this. It's very ironic for us to be doing an episode about TV shows when neither one of us really watch much TV.
It's hard as a libertarian.
Yeah.
Because everything's all pro-government, this, that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. There are a few shows that are worth watching though. What have you been watching lately, Amanda?
Watching lately?
Yeah.
I finished the first season of Salem, which I love. It's a chick show. It is totally a chick show, so just warning you.
I don't think I've heard of that.
It's a show about, obviously, Salem, Massachusetts, and it assumes that there were actually witches there causing trouble, but they were doing it for political gain.
There we go. I just put a wiki link to it in the chat room if you're interested. Fictional story of the infamous Salem witch trials.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a different take on the whole subject.
Interesting.
I can't wait for season 2 to come out. It's going to be awesome.
Is it on Netflix yet?
Yes. That's where I watched it.
Okay.
I don't have cable, so everything I watch on Netflix or Hulu.
Oh, Shane West is in it.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, the only reason, and I almost gag at the idea of admitting this, but the reason I know who Shane West is I actually used to watch ER. Remember the Chicago medical show? Did you ever watch that show?
I've seen episodes of it because obviously growing up it was so huge. But it was never my thing. About the only medical show I ever got into was House.
See, and I don't know why I watched that show. I was like, I started watching it in the first season and somehow just like kept watching it out of like nothing better to do that night or something. And then my first wife was a big fan of it, so we started watching it together, so it kind of became our thing. And that's why I continued watching it. And then, yeah, we watched it up until the last episode. But
Yep.
I mean, quite frankly, it really wasn't all that great a show. But
He was such a jerk. I loved it.
yeah.
I did love it.
I mean, there are very few shows that I watch now. I mean, there's a couple of the superhero ones. I although I'm not caught up on them, I did consider myself a regular viewer of Gotham,
Yes.
Flash, and Arrow.
I love Gotham.
Yeah, I love it, and I think I'm going to try to get caught up tonight after the show. But other than that, the only show I really watch is Big Bang Theory. Up until a few weeks ago, when a friend of mine at work recommended a show called Parks and Recreation to me. He said, you really need to watch the show because I think you'll like this guy in here named Ron Swanson. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. So now I like 2 or 3 weekends in a row, I binge watched it on Netflix. So I am completely caught up on it now. and it's what's really funny is I am actually not a fan of Amy Poehler. Never been a fan of her. She kind of irritates me.
Yeah.
But despite her, I still like that show because there's so many other characters on there that are hilarious. I mean,
I absolutely agree. And the city planner is great because that is kind of what you think of when you think of city planning. And for the listeners that don't know, that's what my master's is in. Describe the site to us. It's rectangular. Zoned for this. That's it.
But for those of you who don't watch the show, there's a character on the show. His name is Ron Swanson, and he's a libertarian, and he basically plays the role of this. He's throughout most of the show, he is the director of the Parks and Recreation office, and his whole plan, it seems, in life is to basically ruin the city government from within.
Yep.
And it's just he's just a really hilarious guy, and it's kind of funny how he develops over the course of the show. He changes a little bit, but that core Ron Swanson-ness is still there throughout the whole series, and it's just hilarious. I mean, he's this meat-loving. He once accidentally ate a vegetable. He's great. He's by far my favorite character on the show.
Another reason I first started watching it is because when I did start working for the government, they called me Ron Swanson. So I'm like, why are you calling me Ron Swanson? And then I'd go watch the show, and I'd be like, this guy's brilliant. I love this.
He is.
I love this.
He's great. Oh, have you seen maybe I asked you this earlier today. Have you seen any previews for the Heroes Reborn show?
No.
It's going to be a mini-series, but if anybody remembers the I guess you can call it a superhero show from the early. Well, when was that show on? I guess it was the mid-2000s.
Mid-2000s.
It was a show called Heroes, and it was about these people that developed these powers, and it lasted for 4 seasons. Although, if you are going to go out and get caught up, don't even bother watching the 4th season. It was horrible. The 4th season is a very good example of why it's not on the air anymore. But I guess they're going to do a mini-series this year, and they've started airing commercials about it. So I'm a little bit excited, but also kind of worried. I mean, because I have seen the 4th season, so hopefully it won't be crap like that one was. But yeah, I just there's been a lot of shows, in the past that were really good. That
yes,
they just shows they just don't make like that anymore. Like Firefly, that was a great show.
Not my favorite sci-fi show, and I don't know why.
Wow, I love that show, but Fox canceled that one.
It was way better than half of the other crap on TV. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe they did. My favorite's Babylon 5.
And we were talking about that earlier. I've actually never seen it. I'm
a big Babylon 5 freak.
I gotta try it sometime. Is it on Netflix?
No, sadly. It's not on Netflix, it's not on Hulu. It might be on Amazon Instant Video, I do not know.
No, Boston Randy, I don't think they're going to call it Heroes 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, the brilliance of Babylon 5 is it did predict a lot of the things that we see now. The show came out, it was in the mid-90s, and it was considered one of the best-looking shows on television because they used a lot of computer graphics, just a ton of them. And they were one of the first shows to actually do it mainstream on television, where a lot of places were saving them for the movies. There's some brilliant acting, some great story arcs, and the guy who created the show, saw it through beginning to end. He got to see all his arcs through, and the one thing that always struck with me was they predicted the NSA.
Very cool.
And they portrayed it so wonderfully. It was just absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It does take a minute to get started, in season 1 because they're doing all the backstory, but once it gets going in season 2, you've got wars and rebellions and everything else going on, so it gets pretty crazy.
Nice. Did you ever watch a show? It was on Fox. It was only on for 1 year. It got pulled just like Firefly did. It was called Dollhouse.
Yes.
That was a good
one. I
one.
liked it.
That was a good one.
I like that show. It's another Josh Whedon.
Trying to think of some other shows that I used to watch that didn't last long.
I watched some of the ones that did last long. Like, I love The X-Files. It's an absolute classic.
Yeah, I saw a few episodes, but I was not a regular viewer.
Oh my goodness, I've seen every single one. Hopefully
Did you ever
multiple.
watch Jericho?
No.
You remember that one? Okay, that was. It lasted for I think about 2 seasons. Kind of a post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
drama type thing.
Yeah, I knew the premise. I just never got to watch it.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a really interesting show and kind of had some elements of how powerful the government can be. Kind of scary because I mean, essentially the premise of the show is that nuclear devices blow up in all these different American cities, and the government was behind it. So it's
Go
really,
figure.
Yeah, really odd.
Do you watch Last Man Standing?
What's that?
Curious. Do you watch Last Man Standing with Tim Allen?
No.
It's an interesting show because it's so political. It's a comedy. He is small business owning conservative. He does video blogs about politics and ties it back to his store. And he's married to a moderate liberal. And one of their daughters, the eldest, is liberal. The middle daughter doesn't care. She's just like a typical fashion chick. And then the youngest daughter wants to be the first female sniper in the army. And it's a funny show. It's kind of nice to see the playoff of course, there's not really too many libertarian themes in it, but the typical liberal, the typical conservative as portrayed in the media, and how they like debate with each other and how the themes run through the shows. But it doesn't do it in a degrading way, and in the end there are a lot of liberty ideas that come through.
Huh. How many
so, if you're looking for something lighthearted to check out, Last Man Standing.
Check that. Boss Granny, I'm actually interested in seeing that myself. Is that supposed to be a mini-series? It's called Dig?
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, it's a show on the USA Network. Kind of Da Vinci Code-ish from what I gathered. I could be wrong, but that's kind of the kind of where I got it, or what I got from the few previews I've seen. Let's look it up and see, is that supposed to be a regular series or a mini-series? Dig. Well, it says TV series. It starts on March 5th. Premise: story focuses on an FBI agent who is based in Jerusalem and discovers a plot that dates back 2,000 years. Interesting. That's what I thought. So I guess it is a series. I'm going to check that out. I think so. It's a regular series, but no amount of episodes have been listed. Might be worth checking out.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and run some promos here, and then we'll be back talking more about TV shows. We'll be back.
So just what is the Edge of Anarchy? So just what is the Edge of Anarchy?
The show where liberals think we throw Ayn Rand books at homeless people in between bomb hits.
What?
What happens when Vigilant Liberty Radio ties an anvil to itself and jumps into a cavern of chaos Looney Tunes style? You get Edge of Anarchy.
Do I make myself?
So just what is the Edge of Anarchy?
The show where liberals think we throw Ayn Rand books at homeless people in between bomb hits.
What?
What happens when Vigilant Liberty Radio ties an anvil to itself and jumps into a cavern of chaos Looney Tunes style? You get Edge of Anarchy.
Do I make myself clear?
This is Amanda, and join me every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to find out what Edge of Anarchy is all about. Only on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Hi, I'm Taylor Millard, co-host of The Right War, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. I'll give you one simple reason why you need to listen to Liz Harrison and me every Wednesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. You never know when I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. Liz, I've had similar situations with you in bed. Wait, what? What? That just came out way wrong. That's The Right War, every Wednesdays and Thursdays at 11 p.m. Eastern, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
I don't have answers. I have opinions and an internet connection. Hi, This is Amy Curtis from Modern Comments Radio, and you can catch me live Wednesday evenings at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Here is your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for Wednesday, February 4th. Natomas Pacific Pathways Charter High School is receiving national attention thanks to Robert Spencer and Jihad Watch. Students at the school decided to hold a hijab day to explain the Islamic custom of wearing a head covering. Organized by the California High Schools Muslim Student Association, the activity is part of a senior project. Senior and Council on American Islamic Relations intern Samantha Masters stated that complaints are the reason activities like this are needed. Quote, "The irrational reaction by some intolerant individuals is similar to the many manufactured controversies nationwide over the teaching of basic information about Islam, the faith of 1/5 of the world's population." Students emphasized that as American Muslims, they are not required to wear the hijab. The NTSB released a report on a fatal plane crash in Denver last May, in which the pilot and his passenger were both killed. 29-year-old Amrital Singh had been flying a 1970 Cessna 150 when it hit the ground, bounced, then landed upright. Post-accident examination of the airplane did not reveal any pre-impact anomalies that would have precluded normal operation. Based on the wreckage distribution, which was consistent with a high-speed impact, and the degraded visual reference conditions, it is likely that the pilot experienced spatial disorientation and lost control of the airplane. In-flight cell phone use was cited as a cause for the crash. Based on evidence of cell phone use during low-altitude maneuvering, including the flight immediately before the accident flight, it is likely that cell phone use during the accident flight distracted the pilot and contributed to the development of spatial disorientation and subsequent loss of control. San Francisco has seen its first casualty from the increased minimum wage the voters overwhelmingly approved in November, and even the store owners are still for the increased wage levels. Borderlands Books, a science fiction bookstore in the Mission District, is closing its doors after 18 years in business. The owner explained, quote, "In November, San Francisco voters overwhelmingly passed a measure that will increase the minimum wage within the city to $15 per hour by 2018. Although all of us at Borderlands support the concept of a living wage in principle, and we believe that it's possible that the new law will be good for San Francisco, Borderlands Books as it exists is not a financially viable business if subject to that minimum wage. Consequently, we will be closing our doors no later than March 31st. The owners decided to close now because it makes good business sense. I'm Liz Harrison, and this has been your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for Wednesday, February 4th.
If you're not listening to the Roundtable of Extreme Liberty Tuesday nights on Vigilant Liberty Radio, you're missing things like this.
In a couple months, you're going to have 2 fewer hours a day to deal with it.
I'm going to have to crate my kids, I think, more often. What?
What?
No, I didn't say that out loud, I guess.
Yeah, that should have gone inner monologue there.
That's the Roundtable of Extreme Liberty with your hosts Alan Gordius and Crystal Schoonveld, Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
And we are back. I am Steve Long, the host of Liberty Unfiltered, and also with me tonight is Amanda, the host of Edge of Anarchy. We've been talking about TV shows. And let's see. So, what have you been watching this Oh, that would be helpful.
There you go.
All right, let's try that again. You are listening to Liberty Unfiltered. I'm your host, Steve Long. With me is Amanda, and we've been talking about TV shows. I forgot what I was going to ask. Like what have you watched anything of interest this week?
This week, I started watching House of Cards. My best friend is making me. And it's interesting. If you are into politics, it's another one that you definitely have to check out. It's awkwardly shot in my mind. I've never seen anything like it. And it's not sit on the edge of your seat intense, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? But it's definitely something where it keeps your interest and you're like, okay, I can see that. I think watching politics as much as I do, there's nothing in there that's actually going to surprise me. It's not going to be like this big shock thing. But it'll be something that I can definitely relate to, or it's how I would envision Washington, D.C. actually functioning. So we'll see where it goes. It's caught my attention. I've also been watching The Following. Never seen that before, and that one's pretty intense. That one shocks me a little bit as well.
A friend of mine watches that show. He's told me a couple things about it, but it hasn't really piqued my interest.
A serial killer that has a cult and kills people for him. It's pretty...
isn't that the one with Kevin Bacon in it?
Is that Kevin Bacon? Probably. I have a hard time with actors.
A different show. Let's see. The Following. Let me do a search for it. You're kind of a regular viewer of the wrestling shows, though, as well, aren't you?
I watch the 90 minutes of Raw on Hulu Plus every week, and I watch all the pay-per-views because I work in the wonderful wide world of professional wrestling.
Very nice. And yes, that is Kevin Bacon.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.
Let's throw up a link here. Yeah, I mean, my wife is a huge wrestling fan, and I am what I would consider to be a casual viewer. I don't get nearly as committed into things that are going on. But I have my favorites. There's a couple, but I got to say I'm not really a fan of Triple H and Stephanie. But I think that's the point. I don't think you're supposed to like them.
Correct. They don't cut promos like they used to.
Yeah. I've noticed that. I actually like the NXT shows more than I do the Raw and SmackDown shows.
A lot of people are saying that.
Yeah.
Because NXT is closer to what you would see in the independent scene.
Yeah.
It's more real, it's riskier. I don't know who books it.
Actually, Triple H does.
He does?
Yeah. He actually runs that entire show.
That's amazing.
And I only know that because a friend of mine who is super into wrestling told me about this. And he's actually got a podcast of his own called, I swear I'm going to get this wrong again, Around the Ring is what it's called. And it's on live on Sundays, and I want to make sure that it's on the network that I think it's on. But yeah, it's on K98talk.com.
Okay.
And it's on Sundays, but of course, just like ours, there's a podcast. But he's really huge into wrestling. He's been watching it for eons. But he's actually the one that first told me that NXT was better, and he told me that, and I watched a couple episodes myself and agreed. I was like, yeah, this is much better than the Raw stuff.
NXT, it is fun to watch.
Yeah.
I do admit that. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I only watched...
But nothing beats going to an independent show, so guys, support your local independent wrestling scene.
Yeah, there's a few of them here. I do like going to those when I get a chance. But I only watched a little bit of Raw this past Monday. Just kind of bits and pieces of it.
I'll probably watch it.
I know what happened because I checked the results on the Bleacher Report the next day. Let's see, what else have I watched? Got caught up on Parks and Rec. I don't know if you
I'm waiting for more South Park, of course.
What's that?
I'm waiting for more South Park.
Yeah, I stopped watching that a long time ago, and not for any particular reason. just stopped. But yeah, I used to watch that. Of course, Sunday I watched the Super Bowl, and that was depressing. But what are you going to do?
Yep. Those ads, man. Those ads.
Oh, those ads were disappointing, too.
Oh, my gosh.
I was actually talking about the results. For those of you that listening that don't know, I'm actually from Seattle, and the Seahawks are my team, and it was very disappointing to see them lose.
I forgot. Hey, Ohio State won the national championship, so I just really didn't care. Sorry.
Yeah, I can see that. I understand. I don't really have... I mean, I like the Washington Huskies, but really I don't have a college team. I don't... the big teams here in Oklahoma are OU and OSU, and I really don't care about either one of them. just don't care. Yeah, I really don't have a college team. I'm not too big on. I mean, of course, the really big thing here in Oklahoma is their basketball team that everybody here in Oklahoma is in love with. But I don't like basketball, so it doesn't really help me any. I'm trying to think of some other shows that I have either watched or... Did you ever watch Smallville?
I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I own the entire series. I bought it when it came out in a box set. I'm trying to think of what else. Did you ever watch? Any shows on AMC?
No.
Okay, well, Hell on Wheels is one of them that's on AMC. But there's another one on there called. I was thinking of Hell on Wheels was the one I was thinking of, but the big one that's on AMC is The Walking Dead.
It's in my Netflix list.
Yeah, that's a pretty big show on AMC. But the one that I not that I don't like Walking Dead, but Hell on Wheels is kind of a Western period action drama type thing. It takes place during the building of the Intercontinental Railroad. And being a history nerd, it's kind of hard to not watch that. What else? Do you watch Big Bang Theory? That's a big one for me.
I haven't seen it this season since I don't have cable and they stopped streaming it on Hulu.
I noticed that. I don't understand why they did
that. So I haven't been able to watch it. I get all the geek jokes.
Yeah.
So it was a show where I could actually sit down and laugh at it. I don't like a lot of situational comedies. Like, I get the jokes, but they're just not that funny to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can get it.
But the Big Bang Theory is funny, so it's so disappointing when Hulu, come on, get it together.
Yeah. So, another question: are there any shows out there that you've seen that you just absolutely can't stand?
2.5 Men.
Okay, not a fan of that one. No.
Nope.
For me, I'd have to say just about any reality show.
Yes.
I
don't watch any of them. I will watch some of the cooking ones, like Hell's Kitchen or Cutthroat Kitchen.
Yeah, those aren't as
Master
bad.
Chef. I'll watch those because I like cooking, but other than that, no.
As far as reality shows go, the only exception off the top of my head that I like is Comic Book Men.
Seen a few episodes. It was funny.
Yeah, I mean that's another AMC show. So I kind of like that one. But there's most of the shows that I really just can't, that I just absolutely can't stand are reality shows. One of the newer reality shows, and the only reason I know about these shows, I have to kind of defend myself here. The only reason I know about most of the shows that I can't stand, my wife and my teenage daughter watch a hell of a lot more TV than I do. I mean, they are TV junkies. They watch everything. The DVR is full of their stuff.
That's funny.
So they watch a lot of these shows, and sometimes I'll be doing work in the living room while they're in there watching their stuff, and I'm on my laptop, and every once in a while I'll look up and kind of catch what they're looking at, and I'll just be like, why are you watching this? But the newer one that I was mentioning that just drives me bonkers is this show called Chris Lee Knows Best.
Okay, I've never even heard of that.
Okay, you're not missing anything. And like I said, the only reason I know about it is because they watch it and I accidentally caught it. But it's I don't get it. There's like no point to it. It's just about this family from Georgia. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like unique about them. I mean, it's not like...
Right, it's not like a Honey Boo Boo situation.
Yeah, it's not like Duck Dynasty.
Which I'm sad to say I've seen Honey Boo Boo because
I haven't
Friends.
seen it. I'm glad to say.
Same with Toddlers and Tiaras, Friends. You're at their house. You can't control what they put on. Next thing you know, you've got Honey Boo Boo or a bunch of these poor kids being paraded across the stage in slut gear.
So I think Boston Randy has seen the show because he says it's freaking tedious. He must have seen it.
Yeah.
But really, there's no point to it. It's just about this family and things that happen. It's like, wow. I mean, I might as well start filming my house. It's that boring.
You should try to watch Cutthroat Kitchen. That's an interesting show for capitalists to watch. Because they sell things to sabotage your opponent. So you start out with a bunch of money, and then they sell these sabotages that you can use.
I caught one of those.
And then if you win at the end, you get to keep whatever money you still have.
They get to take away some of your ingredients or something?
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
but the funny thing is, some people will just spend all their money and have nothing when they win because they're like, oh, we did it. And then there's other people that try to conserve. And it's really interesting to see how that money is the motivator and how people choose, pride over money.
I think there are entirely too many reality shows on the air.
Yes,
and
we have
agree. The Real World to thank for that.
Thanks,
that's
MTV.
The one that started it all.
Thanks, MTV.
It's like The Real World, and then Big Brother, and then Survivor, and then it just blew up.
I think Survivor was before Big Brother.
Was it?
Yes, and do you remember Who Wants to Marry a Prince? That was one of the first ones. It was a one-night only deal.
No.
But I was a communications minor in college, and my professors would always say, this reality TV thing, it's going to blow up with these shows like Who Wants to Marry a Prince and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, this stuff is so dumb. America can't be that dumb, right? Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
They are.
Here you are,
years dumb.
Later. Everybody's watching it.
And I'm like, damn, I would have invested in some of this had I known.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
he's
it's such a big deal. I mean, remember when that old guy from Duck Dynasty made some kind of comments and like the entire country went apeshit over it? And it's like, really?
Yep.
It's just a TV actor. Who cares?
Right. Well, he's not even an actor. He's a main character, but he's not one of the guys that owns the businesses. He's like one of the preachers.
Isn't he like their dad or something?
He is their dad. But he's a preacher, and he like quoted the Bible, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this backwoods Louisiana dude believes the Bible."
Yeah, thank you, Randy. Phil Robertson, that's his name. Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. Some old religious redneck said something.
Believes things.
Who cares, man? I don't care.
I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody in an older generation who's a preacher believes the Bible. This is a scandal.
Okay, so Randy said he is the dad, and he's the founder of Duck Commander.
Okay, so is that his company then? I never caught on to that.
Yeah, he was a hellraiser in his younger days, but he found Jesus in the 1970s.
Gotcha.
Found Jesus. I never understood that term.
I don't understand the phrase either. I found him. Pretty sure he's always been there.
He's not a preacher, but his oldest son, Alan, is a pastor. Is Alan in the TV show?
I've watched the show, but I guess I never paid that much attention.
Yeah. I don't watch it, but I'm sure my wife does.
It is a funny show.
I'll take your word for
Not
that.
so much the older episodes, but it can be a funny show. The Christmas episode, the one Christmas episode was hilarious.
Apparently, Alan is the only one without a beard.
Okay.
So is he actually on the show?
I don't remember really seeing him. I only like everybody that I have seen on the show has had beard.
In any case, I think what else? What other shows are just absolutely horrifying?
What about shows that have been ruined? Like, I used to love Seventh Heaven, but then you find out that the dad in the show is like this huge child molester, and you can't watch it anymore.
Oh, wow.
Or the people who can't watch The Cosby Show anymore.
Yeah,
they used to love it. Like, what?
Yeah,
that has an impact on people.
Trying to think of other shows that are like that.
Those are just the two in recent memory.
Yeah. Do you know if there are of any shows that like have been rebooted besides Hawaii Five-0?
Battlestar Galactica.
That's right. Do you like the old one better or the new one better?
I like them both, but I love the new one.
Yeah, I really like the new one. It's good.
It's brilliant.
I guess you can kind of consider Star Trek. That's not really a reboot, though.
No. I love Deep Space Nine and Voyager. More Deep Space Nine, because it's more level-headed. You know, some of the other Star Treks, you get in these episodes where they're like, oh, my species learned a long time ago to be socialist, essentially, is what they're saying. But in Deep Space Nine, like, Sisko's a badass. And he just kind of lets
the older Battlestar Galactica was better. Oh, you know what they need to reboot? They need to reboot Buck Rogers. That would be great. Not really.
They rebooted Charlie's Angels a while back.
Oh yeah, they did.
They might reboot Babylon 5. I hope they don't.
Yeah, I'll have to check some of those.
Don't. Yes, watch it. if you're just joining the show, Amanda's whole point of the night is watch Babylon 5.
Yes. We should play your theme song if I can find it. Probably not.
Oh, because it starts out with the Babylon 5 sound.
Yeah. Randy was talking about Law and Order.
Yes.
I got to say that the SVU show kind of, that's one of those shows I don't like.
I used to watch it religiously, and now I can't. It just got so bad.
Like
I watched
one of those shows that like my wife will like marathon watch. Like when they do the marathons during the weekend.
Oh yeah.
She will watch those marathons. Like, you've seen every one of these episodes. Why are you watching it again? But I don't like it.
Who done it?
I can't think of any particular reason why I don't like it. I just don't like it.
I like the original Law and Orders, and I do like SVU, but not so much lately. I just haven't been able to get back into it at all.
Oh, you know what? We're out of time. We're all done.
We are.
Time flies when you're having fun talking about TV shows that you hate. Well, this was fun. Thanks for coming on the show with us, Amanda.
No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Coming up next is going to be Modern Comments with Amy. And I will be back here next week, same time. Have no idea what the topic will be. I'll figure it out between now and then. Amanda's show will be Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Absolutely.
That's the Edge of Anarchy. And that's it. Good night, folks. Thanks for listening. You have been listening to Liberty Unfiltered on Vigilant Liberty Radio. And shout out to the folks that are streaming us out on K98 Talk. Goodbye.
This show is copyright by VLR Media. All opinions of hosts, panelists, and guests are their own and may not reflect the opinion of VLR Media or anyone else.